Welcome to Growth Minded Conversations. We're your hosts, Amy Diestelkamp and Paula Grimes from Growth Minded Talent Solutions, where we talk about the real leadership and hiring decisions behind building a growing business. Hey, welcome back, everyone, for another Growth Minded Conversations. I'm here today with my business partner, Paula Grimes. My name is Amy Diestelkamp, and we are talking all about the concept of control. This is a hot topic button for business owners as they are gearing up and growing their teams.
Yes.
Paula, what's been your experience?
Yes. And it's not just business owners, right? It's even as our business grows and we hire people, and then those people have to hire another person to replace part of their job. They have trouble giving up control. So I think it's, in a lot of ways, a human struggle.
We equate control with security, giving it up, trusting someone else to do the thing. It feels, especially in the beginning, doing this for the first couple of times, it can feel very unmooring to people, like you're adrift in your own business.
And if
Yeah.
we give something up and a mistake is made, the first thing we often want to do is say, I'm taking it back because they can't do it right. And yet we all make mistakes when we're learning something new. We didn't get on a bike the first time and not fall off the bike. People are going to make mistakes. And when we are giving things to people, we need to understand they are going to make mistakes. And it's giving them that space to make mistakes, resolve the mistake themselves, which is another huge thing, because if we're constantly fixing people's mistakes, they're not learning from them. And therefore, we're not building that trust, and we are still staying in control. So even though we've given it to them, we're allowing them to do it. But if they make a mistake, we're fixing the mistake. We're still controlling it. But if we give it to them, they make a mistake and we have a conversation. Okay, how are you going to fix this? You just made this mistake. This is the consequences from it. How are you going to fix this? And they come up with the solution and we approve the solution and they go and execute on the solution. Guess what? I bet you they don't make that mistake again. They don't want to have to go do whatever was uncomfortable to fix the mistake again.
Yeah.
However, if we fix the mistake, there was no uncomfortableness in it other than that they made a mistake.
Mhm. And that uncomfortableness never gets resolved because we hold on to it internally. They know they've messed up, but they didn't get to make it right. So they're holding on to it internally. Like that's what festers and shuts down communication and growth on a team faster than anything. People
Yes.
want to be able to make things right. That's how we get to go to sleep at night and say, I made mistakes today, but I still put in good quality work and was of value to my team. If I don't get to fix it, I don't get to go to bed at night feeling good about the work I did for the day. I think as leaders, we also have to recognize like, you're not just doing it to correct the mistake. This is part of helping them feel like there's still a success, that there's still a path forward for them on your team. Why do you think people take control like so personally?
Because in our minds, nobody can do it as fast or as well as we can. And part of that is because we've gone through that journey of making a mistake and figuring it out. We've already gone that whole journey on our own. We just know that for the last 2 years, I've done this 100 times. I've never made a mistake and I do it perfectly. So to go backwards for a little while, forgetting that we were there at one point, but to go backwards for a little while is incredibly painful. And we start to build up in our head how that's going to ruin our business or my reputation or the way we do things.
That inherent bias we have as being the person who created the process, it lives in my mind, I do it perfectly every time. I think there's a bias around it too. If the process isn't documented and observed and graded every single time, how do you know you do it perfectly every time? But then you bring
Well,
on
because
someone new, right?
yes, because in my head, I do it perfectly. And you bring up a really great point too. We don't have proof that we do.
I promise you as a business owner, if you are doing it all by yourself right now, You are dropping balls every day. You are making mistakes every day, but you catch them, you fix them, you pivot, you make it work, and that's okay. Your client might not know that you made the mistake because you flexed and worked around it. But when you have someone else doing the work for you, the mistakes feel bigger because you're observing them and you have to watch the other person troubleshoot it. Having to observe the mistakes is different than you making the mistake and fixing it yourself. And that feels very uncomfortable for people.
And you don't have to go to somebody to say, "Can I have your approval on fixing this mistake?" Or, "Is this how you would fix the mistake?" Because you get to make all the decisions. It's actually harder for them because they have another person involved. If they were left to their own devices, if you make a mistake, I want you to fix it and I want it to be seamless and I don't even want to know about it, they would go through the same process you've gone through. But because they have to bring it to your attention, because they have to run it by you, because they want to make sure that they're solving it in the way that you would want it solved, it brings you into it.
That expectation, especially when they're new on the team or it's a new role that you and them are working through establishing, I think it is important for you to be in the loop and to help them with determining next steps or how to correct it, things like that. It is the only way you can have confidence that they will treat your business and act in your business the way you would in your absence is by allowing them to work through those mistakes together with you to troubleshoot the solution. If the concern for you is, I don't want to give up control because I want my business to look, feel, sound, and be the same way it is when I'm in the middle of it, but I don't want to be in the middle of it, then you have to make yourself available to be part of troubleshooting mistakes. If you're someone who feels like, I just want to be able to go out, generate my leads, generate the business. I don't care so much about whether or not it's done my way or not in the background. I'll let my team, my skilled team members figure that out themselves. Then, yeah, let them troubleshoot the problem and find the solutions. But those solutions are probably going to be through their lens and context, not the lens and context of you and your brain.
You just have to be okay with whatever they come up with. And I do usually find that the people who can let go of control that easy usually are also okay with they solved it this way. Or if they're not, they don't hold on to it, meaning they come in and they'll say something like, "Well, that's not the way I would have solved it." And yet they're not going to hold on to it because they know they gave up control.
I don't see it come up as much as the aspect around business owners or leaders not wanting to give up control. But I do come across this aspect where they're ready to give up control. They want to delegate out. They've made a hire, that person's come on, and that person doesn't want to take control. They don't
Oh,
want to pick up where you're setting down the baton. What happens when you encounter those kinds of situations?
this to me goes back to being very clear on what you're hiring for and who you're hiring. Because most jobs and small businesses, you need somebody willing to step into owning their role. When you're a small business, you really need that. You don't have many people doing a lot of, you have very few people doing a lot of things. And so you really need everybody to own everything they're doing and the experience they're creating within their role. When you're in a bigger corporation, that starts to get less important. If I'm the receptionist at a big corporation and I just answer the phones and I'm just passing them on to people, and then people bring me things to do and I do those things, I may be fine not taking control of anything. That job does not require, it does require some ownership, but it doesn't require a really high level of ownership. And those people who don't want a high level of ownership, first of all, there's no right or wrong around that. It's, are you in the right seat? If I'm the personality of like, I don't want a high level of ownership in my job, that is going to be more of the type of job I'm going to go look for. When you're bringing someone on your team, you need to be very clear on what level of ownership you want them to have. And that is, again, why we interview. That's why we ask questions, because we're trying to determine who this person is and will they be a fit for who I am, who my organization is, and what the needs of this job are.
I think that's an important aspect there. It really contributes to being very clear as a business owner, the kind of leader you're going to show up and be too. Like you've got to know who you're hiring, and then you've got to be prepared. If I bring on someone who wants to own their role, who wants to own the functions of their job, they're going to come in and they're probably going to push me to give up more control than I thought I was going to have to. They're going to infiltrate my business, and that could feel very jarring. It might even feel a little contentious if they are seeing things that are on the periphery of other things that they're managing for you, and they're seeing that there are gaps in the systems or in the processes in the business. It might feel like overstepping, but what they're seeking is if I can control this as well as this, now my job is more streamlined. My function is better and more efficient for you. But it might feel like they're overstepping because they want to. Now it's not just email management. Now they want to control your calendar. But because they control your calendar, now they can better help you prepare for your meetings and your conversations with clients. And now they're in your sales pipeline because they need to know to prepare what's coming next, what's next month going to look like because I need to plan and I need to be ready. It control can feel almost like a domino effect of if you give it away, this person's coming in and doing a lot of different things for you. Again, you need to be really clear on what must you hold on to versus what can this person take off of your plate.
Which in Fierce Conversations, she really talks about the decision tree.
Mhm.
When we can clearly identify what decisions our people can make on their own, what decisions they can't make at all, and what decisions are in between, it also helps the control issue. Like,
Yeah.
I can give up control and trust because I know they are very clear on what decisions they're allowed to make on their own and what decisions they're not allowed to make on their own.
I love the decision tree. I have used it so much and it is so helpful. I think it can also be really helpful with emerging talent that you might be bringing into the role. Based on your budget, you might not be able to hire someone who is at the skill or experience level that's going to come in and just want to own their role on day one. You might need to hire someone who's a little bit more emerging and they might need some help with building their confidence up around taking control and taking ownership. And the decision tree can also be a great tool for that too. Here are the things you absolutely can make decisions with without me. And what would that look like? And what does that feel like? And then help them actually see what's in their purview and what's not. So that way they have the confidence to move forward without asking you for every little thing or waiting for you for every decision. Fantastic. Let's have everyone tune back in next week and we will break down the decision tree, how that works, and coach you through what those conversations actually sound and feel like when you're working with a new hire.
All right, growth minded leaders, that's a wrap on today's episode. We hope this sparked some fresh ideas and fueled your drive to build, lead, and grow with purpose. And if something we shared helped shift your perspective, we'd love for you to leave a review. It helps us reach more business builders just like you. Better yet, share this with someone on your team or in your inner circle who's ready to level up their leadership game. Until next time, keep leading boldly, hiring wisely, and training with intention. You're not just building a business, you're shaping a legacy.